And good Saturday, everybody. Welcome back to the Brass Bench, our ongoing conversation about brass instrument manufacture, maintenance, modification, and repair. I am your host, Dave Weiner. I am solo today. Chris Cromer will be taking the week off. Hopefully he'll be joining in by chat. You can find out everything you want to know about the show at www.thebrassbench.com or on our Facebook page. If you're watching us right now, we are streaming today on Facebook. It's kind of a question, do we want to stream on Facebook? Do we want to stream on YouTube? There are advantages to both. We've decided today to do it on Facebook. This is a conversation, and I hope you'll join in. You can comment on the post that you're looking at, and there'll be a bit of a lag, and I will see that comment, though, eventually, and hopefully I'll respond to you. And so just type in the questions, comments there, and join in the conversation. Or if you want to join in the conversation with some other kind of suggestion, a topic, a question, you can send us an email to you guys, YOUGUYS, at thebrassbench.com. It's not very interactive, but it is a good way to send us your thoughts. So today is my IHS, International Horn Symposium Roundup. IHS 2016 is going on right now. This is the end of the symposium, but it is still going on right now in Ithaca, New York at Ithaca College, and it is hosted by Alex Shuhan. Next year, IHS 2017 will be in Brazil, in Natal, Brazil. If you want to know more about that, go to www.hornsociety.org. So this year was kind of different for me at IHS. Instead of exhibiting, as I usually do, I went as an attendee. I just went for one day, and that was yesterday, Friday, for a lot of different reasons. I won't necessarily go into all of those, but attending rather than exhibiting gave me a whole new, fresh perspective on what was going on at a show. When you're an exhibitor, you kind of stand at your exhibit all day long, every day, on your feet, and you get really super tired, and you hear horns playing all day long. You talk to a ton of people. You have to shout over the horns. You can probably tell that my voice is a little rough today because even as an attendee, I was shouting over horns, trying to be heard, trying to hear and be heard. So it gets to be rather wearing, and you have a very narrow perspective on what goes on. Now, yesterday, I really just did the exhibits. I didn't do a lot of the master classes, workshops, concerts, that sort of thing. I wish I could have done. But I did go just to the exhibits on purpose because I wanted to gather information for you, information I hope that will be valuable and informative at the exhibits, because after all, this is a show about instruments. This is a show about manufacture, maintenance, modification, repair that encompasses instruments and accessories. So we're going to emphasize those exhibitors who are actually making things, making horns, making accessories. There were a lot more exhibitors there than I'm going to be talking about today, and I'm not going to talk about them. They deserve to be talked about, but I am not going to be talking about them. Sad to say. I want to focus on people who are actually making stuff that you want to know about. At the end of today's show, I am going to sum up my thoughts on the whole experience, going and seeing everything with a fresh new set of eyes, fresh perspective. Hopefully it'll be coherent. I'm rather tired. I left a bit late, drove a lot to get back here, and we've done a lot of work getting this all together. So as far as the stream goes, I'm going to ask you to bear with us. Let us know in the chat, again, comment, and let us know how your experience is. I'm kind of asking my director, Adam, to push some of his technical, I don't want to say limits, but we're doing stuff that we haven't done before. We're really pushing the technical envelope today. So if you have any difficulty with the stream, viewing, hearing, or you're not seeing what you think you should be seeing, then please let us know in the comments so that we can address that issue. Hopefully we won't have to shut the stream down and start over. Sometimes that happens, but I think we're going to be good. I mean, all our tests came up positive. So I'm going to kind of do a slideshow, then sum up with my thoughts, and you know, give you some things to look at, things we can talk about. So I'll ask Adam to put up that first picture. Excuse me, a little coffee for the throat. And the brain. So while that picture's coming up, if you have any questions or comments, please do chat us, comment. All right. What you're looking at here should be what is known as an armillary, sometimes called an armillary sphere. An armillary is a kind of sundial, and you're probably wondering, why did Dave put up a picture of a sundial? Well, two reasons. One, it was actually in the quad, right in front of the campus center. And as I was walking up to the campus center, I saw this armillary sphere, and I was taken aback. I love sundials. I'm a sundial freak. And I actually checked to make sure that it was fairly accurate, and it was amazingly accurate. It did lack what we call an analemma, but, you know, let's not get too technical about that. But it's a sundial, and you'll see that rod that goes up the middle, that rod is actually parallel to the axis of rotation of planet Earth. And it points to the North Star. Its angle of inclination is exactly equal to the angle of inclination, northern latitude of that particular spot. Every true sundial is made for the particular spot that it is in, and it is designed to work only at that spot on Earth. So I think we lost the armillary. I'm going to ask Adam to check in. No, we're back. Sorry about that. There's a bit of a lag. I just want you all to remember there's a bit of lag between what you're typing, what I'm seeing. So if I have questions or you have questions, let's talk with each other. Anyway, so back to the armillary. It keeps time. And actually, this one keeps time pretty well. It was accurate, allowing for daylight savings time. And again, it's kind of a neat thing that you can build something, stick it in one place, and it will work simply just by being there and by the sun shining on it. So I found that fascinating, and actually kind of played into the whole narrative for the day. I'm going to ask Adam to bring up our next picture. So I walked around the exhibits, and I tried to take pictures of people. I asked. I did not take a picture of a person or what they were making without getting their permission. And the person that we're looking at here is Felix Contashanu. Felix makes horns, and he's holding one of his horns. And you can't see it in this picture, but he also is showing his line of mouthpieces as well. So Felix makes horns in a version of the Geyer wrap, and he calls it his Model C horn. Makes a line of mouthpieces as well. The C horn that he's showing here, I asked him if there was anything particularly new about it. One of the things that's new and that you might want to know when you go to a show is that Felix had a horn that he was showing. It was basically a show horn. And he decided for this show, or perhaps for good, he was showing a new copy. So this is his latest and greatest that he's holding here. Terrific guy. Felix used to live right here in Baltimore, moved out to Utah, and is living out there. Going to ask Adam to bring up picture number 3. All right, I'm being told that we're having a massive desync, so please bear with the and it can't be fixed, and I apologize for that. So let's just slow things down. We'll try hard to sort of live with what we got here. Johannes Finke, you should be seeing him. Johannes Finke is a German maker, is known for his... he makes several models and is probably known, if for anything unique and all that, known for his rotors that are made out of a composite material. I forget the exact material, and very lightweight, very quick rotors. Terrific guy. I'm kind of, the first few pictures are going to go kind of fast because I don't really, have like tons and tons and stuff to say about each one. I guess kind of, I want to showcase people, but if there's something new, I want to talk about that. So the next picture, number 4, is from the exhibit. Vlastimil Juracek was there. Vlastimil makes horns, double horns. He makes Wiener horns, and he makes natural horns. I'm waiting for the lag to kind of slow down and tell you which picture this is. I don't remember. I took 2 pictures of that. Had a nice little conversation with Vlastimil. Came over from Czech Republic. I'm getting a question from my director. Yes? Picture number 4? Yes, please. Anybody have any questions? Don't hesitate. Just comment there on the chat. I don't see the picture yet, so I'm not sure exactly which picture we're looking at. I'm still seeing... Oh, there's the Wiener horn. Yeah. Really a beautiful Wiener horn. And can we have picture number 5, please? I took another picture down his table, Vlastimil's table, and had a look at all of his natural horns as well. I mean, really fine work in Czech Republic. Czech Republic is trying to decide whether or not they want to change the name of the country from Czech Republic to Čechy, which is the name of the land. And I guess I asked him about that, and he said it's a bit of a question. I guess they're still debating that. And there you can see all of his orchestral horn crooks all laid out there. Picture number 5, please. Should be a familiar face to a lot of people. Number 6. I beg your pardon. Yes, picture number 6. Thank you, Adam. Hope everyone's liking that music there. All right, this is a familiar face. Marcus Bona himself and his son Ricardo, straight from Brazil. They're going to be in their own country next year when they attend IHS 2017, but they will still have to travel approximately 3,000 kilometers to go to the show. I don't believe Marcus had anything novel to show, but Marcus is, of course, an icon in the horn industry. Marcus, the original lightweight backpack detachable bell horn case. He's on, I think, MV9 or 10 at this point. A real innovator, terrific guy in our industry. Can we have picture number 7? All right, picture number 7. Jim Patterson. Jim Patterson is well known to many people. Jim's been building since about 2000. I had a nice long conversation with him. Jim actually has 5 models of horn. 5 models. He has a Geyer model, a Knopf model, a Kruspe model, a Descant model, and a triple horn. He builds about 30 to 35 horns a year in his shop in Las Cruces, New Mexico. And right now he told me there's about a 2 to 3 month wait. If we can have picture number 8, I believe we're going to see his triple horn. Picture number 8. This triple horn is, I mean, this is really a marvel. It's terrific looking instrument. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, you really have to play him. Jim is going to be at Audition Mode in Philadelphia this coming Wednesday. Denise Tryon and Carl Pittick have a seminar for those who wish to perform at their best during auditions. That's why they call it Audition Mode. And this is the first year they're going to have a vendor day. It's at Temple University in Philadelphia. Jim is going to be there. He's doing kind of an East Coast tour. IHS is part of it. I will be there as well, FYI. And if you get to come on out to Temple, we will be happy to see you. Jim will be happy to see you. Picture number 9, please, will be a familiar face to practically everybody in the world. Now, I didn't take pictures of people who sell things, retailers. They certainly deserve recognition, but today's really about the makers. So why am I showing you this face? Picture number 9, is that up yet? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Again, there's the lag, and I can't see whether or not you're seeing it necessarily. Is Bob Osman on your right, and his assistant Taylor on his left in green. And Bob is standing in front of his line of mouthpieces. These are Osman mouthpieces. Bob's line of mouthpieces are designed to evoke a sound. He has a New York model, a Chicago model, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He's got quite a few variations and quite a, underparts and rims. Bob is maybe among the icons of horn retailers. He's basically the original, in my opinion. So there's Bob from Boston. Picture number 10. We're going to see Rico Kuhn and his wife Nancy, coming from Germany. Rico is just a superior maker. His horns are like jewelry. They're just gorgeous, beautifully made, beautiful sound. He has quite a few variations. His latest triple horn, I don't think there's anything new to report about his horns, but his latest triple horn, the 393X, which is not a brand new model, but it is certainly a very versatile model. It's designed so that you can have either an F alto horn or an E flat alto horn, and you can just swap that out very easily with a set of slides. An really incredible functional design. From a maker standpoint, I think there aren't too many makers who can make horns better than Rico, maybe none. Picture number 11, you won't see the man himself. But you will see his assistants. This is a view of Rick Serafinoff's table. Rick, of course, is a professor of horn at Indiana University. Rick is also well known as a maker of orchestral horn copies. And there they are, laid out for you in all their glory. Again, I don't think there was anything new. Although at the end of the table, the one thing that was new was a book that Rick's put out. And I apologize, I don't have a picture of that right now. It's a very large survey of the solo horn literature, an enormously thick volume, published by the Indiana University Press. I don't remember the price exactly, but I'll tell you, it's worth twice the price. It really is a terrific reference. Look it up. Rick Serafinoff is one of the authors, and it's solo horn literature. Sorry, Rick, that I don't have a picture and I don't have the exact name of the book, but you can easily find it. Picture number 12, another icon. Again, if you have questions, just let us know. Make a comment in the chat. Steve Lewis from Chicago, my hometown, Chicago. Steve Lewis, been making horns since what, the mid-late 70s. I don't know exactly when Steve started, but a true icon in the horn making world. In more recent years, Steve has partnered with Dietmar Dirk, the Lewis Dirk horn, and I mean, what can you say? I mean, Steve's horns are par excellence, and his collaboration with Dietmar has produced some really fabulous stuff. There's the man himself. Really a nice guy to sit down and have dinner with. Steve, shout out to you. Hope everything's going well for you at the very end of IHS. Picture number 13 is another familiar face. All these faces are familiar. I should stop saying that over and over and over. Darren Sorley in Indiana. Darren makes horns, of course, wrapped in the Geyer tradition, and has been around forever and ever and ever, making his horns well made, fantastic. I'll just give all those adjectives. Darren's, and of course, Darren's a terrific guy. There he is at his exhibit. I don't think there was anything particularly new that he was showing, but there's Darren. Picture number 14. It's going to be somebody who doesn't have quite the long service in that all these other guys do, but making horns that people are buying. I'm sure he would want me to tell you that Andrew Bain is playing his horn and did play on the recent Star Trek movie soundtrack. And this is Daniel Vidikin. Dan from Memphis makes the Lucas horn, and there he is holding one of them. He had two Lucas horns on the table, as you can see. The one had a nickel-silver B-flat return branch, another yellow brass B-flat return branch. So, you know, some minor variations between the two horns and the models. Lucas horn, Lukas. Look Dan up and talk to him if you're interested. Picture number 15 is kind of an older name with kind of a new kind of twist, I think, in a way. An interesting post on Facebook the other day by the people who are repping Andreas Eastman horns. Andreas Eastman horns are made in China. The early models, I saw an Eastman horn in my shop. I don't know how long ago that was, over 10 years ago. I hate to say it wasn't a very good horn, but I think even Eastman would agree. They have changed their horns over and over and over through the years. My understanding, and I hope Eastman will correct me if I'm wrong, is that they own. I don't know if they own the lines or the factories. They are really very much more closely monitoring and controlling the process for the Chinese-made instruments, is basically my takeaway. And the reps, I did not get to play one, but the reps tell me that these horns are just by far and away even better than models as late as last year. These are new model horns, and there's a Kruspe wrap horn, there's a Geyer wrap horn, and they tell me that they play far better than the horns even of fairly recent vintage. So if you get a chance to try an Eastman at a show, it's going to be worth your while, I think, to try it, see how it compares. The Chinese horns obviously are making a big splash. We'll talk about that in just a little bit more. Number 16 picture. Now, this is not a horn, but this is an accessory, and this is where my list of pictures in the slideshow kind of changes from people who are making and well-known to people who are were making and are showing stuff that's rather new. And so this is kind of where I was getting really excited. This is Luke Zyla. Luke bought the company known as Soft Stands in January from Eric Lundberg. And that deal went down, I think, January of this year, 2016. And this is basically the same design that Eric came up with. For whatever reason, Eric decided that he didn't want to do it anymore, and Luke decided that he did want to do it. And these stands are, in my opinion, just a real terrific product. What's new about it? Well, Luke has made some very minor changes to the design, which is itself a terrific design. You can see that the soft stand is meant to cradle the horn in a soft fabric sling. And some of the things, the minor things that Luke has done to improve it is he's improved the construction of the sling so that it holds the horn just a little more securely. It's not going. It's a better finish, and it's a stronger finish, I guess, is the best way to say it. And the other stands, of course, are very secure, but the way it's finished makes it, gives it a little extra security, a little extra strong and good-looking finish. Way to say it, so it's a fantastic product. I just think they're terrific. And he's also making a Wagner tuba sling. So if you go to his website, softstands.com, you're going to see the pictures for both the horn sling and the Wagner tuba sling. Let's see. Was that picture 16 or 17? Let's try 17. Okay. This should also be Luke Zyla. I'm going to wait a bit to talk about it because I'm not sure if I've caught up with Adam in the pictures. But if anybody has a question, do feel free to make a comment. If you want to know anything else about the show, as I saw it, I was really in the exhibits quite a lot. I really didn't get to see any of the master classes. This is a close-up of the horn in the sling. There we go. I did catch up with Adam now. And the pictures. So you can see how a horn just cradles right in there. And it's very secure. Just sit it right next to your chair. You can pick your horn up, put it down. You can leave your horn there in between practicing and be very comfortable that there is not going to be anything bad happening with your horn. It's very soft. Just cradles right down in there. So I know there are people watching. Please comment. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Anybody have any questions at all? Nobody have any questions? We'll move on to picture number 18. Or if anybody does have any questions, we're going to move on. Picture number 18. This is Rob Cole. Rob Cole has worked with Mark Atkinson and sold Mark Atkinson's horns for quite a while. Unfortunately, I don't believe there are any of the newer models there. I think they were all sold. He didn't have any to show. But I'm showing this in the new instrument, new accessory sort of vein, in that Mark is making a lot of new stuff. He has several models, and he's not gotten rid of any of his newer models. He has the AG2000. He has the AG3000. A lot of his horns now have a unibody type construction, which you may be familiar with, the valve clusters on Engelbert Schmid's. Mark is making horns that have those unitary valve cluster construction. And the other thing he's working on making right now, is a triple horn. And if you're on Facebook a lot and you've seen Mark's posts, you'll see that he is making a triple stack rotor that is hollow. A very complex procedure. Takes a lot of skill and a lot of work, and when he's done, he's going to have triple stack rotors that are really light compared to triple stack solid construction rotors, and should be just really, really fast. It'll take a lot of weight off that heavy triple horn and make it much more manageable. So again, there's Rob. Nothing new to show you in the picture. Those are all the older models. I think those are the AG2000s that we're looking at, as well as the Bells. But the new thing to look for with Mark are his AG3000s and his triple horns coming out. I don't know the numeric designation, but look for Atkinson horns, and you're going to find that somewhere. Mark just did an enormous tour of the eastern part of the country. I mean, enormous. I don't know how many thousands of miles he put on his car. But if he did not get to your town and you did not get to see his new stuff, do try to get to a workshop where Mark or Rob, whose company is hornstuff.com, try to get to a show where they're showing off Mark's new horns. Give those horns a try. Picture number 19 is Wes Hatch. Wes is a familiar name amongst all of us. Wes is a former quality control manager for Holton. Makes his own horn, again, in the Geyer style, as we all know. And came to the show. That in itself is not new. He would have been farther up in the list of somebody who's showing the stuff that they've always shown, except for the fact that he has, in I believe, picture number 20, should be a picture of Wes's buzz pipe, his mouthpiece buzz pipe, and this is a terrific little gizmo. I think a lot of people ought to be getting this. It's a terrific practice aid. It's the first few inches of one of his lead pipes, and it has a couple of holes drilled in for acoustic purposes. And those little holes allow you to allow the pipe to give you all the overtone series. So you can buzz whatever note you want to buzz. The pipe does not restrict you to the odd numbered overtones, and so restrict the number of notes you can play. With those holes, it allows you to actually play pretty much anything. And you can also use it. Wes did a really clever thing. He showed me, he took a piece of newspaper and held it in front of the pipe, and you can use the pipe to test how much air you're getting through. Are you really getting a good, consistent support? And if the paper moves out and doesn't waver, then you're getting you're getting a lot of you're getting a lot of good support. I've been given an indication that there is a comment to answer, but I don't see it. Oh, maybe not. Sorry.
Don't see it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Ken Bell.
No, I don't see it. Hang on, Ken Bell. Hang on a second. I'm just going to have my director, Adam.
New Atkinson was hit recently. Baltimore very responsive.
Oh, there we go. Ken Bell. Ken is a professional here in the Baltimore area, and he subs in the symphony and plays a Landstro conversion horn himself, I believe. Ken can correct me if I'm wrong. And he is saying that he saw the... which horn did he see? He saw an Atkinson. Did he say which model? You know what, folks? Just bear with me a second. I'm going to refresh my screen to see if I can get the comments working. My apologies for having to do this, but I do want to see when you're trying to communicate with me. Oh my goodness. I have not seen any comments that have been happening. Sorry about that. Good morning to Susan Weiner. I wonder who she is. Yes, thank you, Ken. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Hope everybody else is too. Let's see, where was the Hatch buzz pipe? Practice pipe, he calls it. He demonstrated it for me. Really, a great little practice item. So consider getting that. It's definitely a practice item I would like in my kit. Picture number 21 is Howard Wiseman from Wiseman Cases from the UK. I mean, I have to tell you, now we're getting to like all the really cool stuff, in my opinion. And we're counting down to like best in show. I think everything was awesome, everything was great, but there were some things that just kind of blew me away. Wiseman Cases, if you haven't seen them, they're made out of carbon fiber, and they come in different constructions. He has a model that a lot of people are familiar with. It's rounded, like kind of like a lozenge almost, both ends. That he calls the Opera model, the Opera case. But he's got a new case. First, we're going to talk about that bell that he's holding. That is a fascinating thing. It is, in fact, a horn flare. It had a Schmid ring on it. I don't like to comment about the quality of sound of things, and I have not heard this. But I'm going to talk about the quality of construction of that carbon fiber bell. It is light as can be. It is strong as can be, and it's just really a fine piece of construction. The interesting thing is telling me about the fact that they make bells for bass clarinets that they've done blind studies on, and by blind study, people picked over very well-known metal bass clarinet bells, picked not the Wiseman solid bass clarinet bell, but what they call a hollow bass clarinet bell. So the flare you're looking at is actually 2 layers of carbon fiber. There's a layer on the inside of the curvature, and there's a layer on the outside of the curvature. You'd never know it to hold it. It's just thin and light as can be. It's probably a millimeter, and it's strong as heck. And the hollow construction, though, puts air between those 2 layers. And he was saying that the bass clarinet community really, or at least in the UK, I don't know about here, what do I know about bass clarinets? But the bass clarinet community really, really loves their hollow carbon fiber constructed bass clarinet bells. And so he indicated to me that they are going to try a hollow construction horn flare to see how that works. That's still in I guess planning stages. He didn't have one there. They're still talking about how to do it, I believe, but I believe he's going to do it. And if you get to try it, you probably should. Of course, trying these flares is all dependent on the ring. So this one had a Schmid ring on it. If you have an Alex type ring, then you're going to want Wiseman to make some demo flares with Alexander threads on them. Write to them, beg for it. It's going to be worth trying. It's going to be worth hearing and listening to, and it's really something that we're going to have to watch. So let's go to the next one, number 22, because what's here now is the Wiseman Extra Small. This is a new model case for detachable bell horn, and when I first saw this, I was kind of skeptical. I thought, why is that much different from their Opera model, other than the looks of it, the shape of it? And it is much different. It is physically much smaller. It's featherweight. It's super strong. And the picture you're looking at, you're probably wondering, you can see the bell flare, and you can see the horn. You can see all kinds of junk all over the horn. What you see there is you see a mock-up in, I think it was foam and cardboard, and like athletic tape, a mock-up on a horn corpus of the size of a triple horn, and it's trying to approximate the actual dimensions of a triple horn as well as a double horn. And the point is that case can hold both double and triple horn corpuses, and the bell, and a straight mute, and a standard stop mute. And you see 2 pencils in there, and I'm sure that there are probably several other things that you can get in that case. The bell, much like the old Alexander boxy flight cases, the bell is on a board that goes down over the corpus of the horn and then rests against stops over the corpus of the horn. And in picture number 23, we'll see the outside of the case, and you'll see basically the orientation, which is that the bell sits at an angle. The top of the flare, the small end of the flare, sticks out, and no space is wasted, no extra space is needed, no extra weight is added on. It is everything it needs to be, nothing more. It has the butterfly latches on it, and they seem rather lightweight, rather secure. They can be locked. Has the nice leather handle on there. Has their Wiseman case logo. These are really well constructed cases. They have a price tag to match. I am sure of that. But if you own a $15,000 triple horn or a $20,000 used Rauk, or if you own a horn that is that expensive, you probably don't mind or won't mind paying a little extra for absolute protection with these cases. They're really for someone who has a very valuable instrument, they're really, really very, very secure cases. And he's a terrific salesman. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to get the spiel, and you should get the spiel when you talk to him. He has the patter down. He's going to give you all the information you need, just the information you need, and you're going to learn everything you need to know, and he's going to answer all your questions. So if you see him at a show, do not hesitate to stop by Wiseman Cases, even if you feel that you're not in the market for a Wiseman case. You should really look at what they are and what they have to offer. We know that there are other carbon fiber cases coming on the market. This was among the first, and you should consider that when you have when you're considering a case, especially, like I said, if you've got a very, very expensive, valuable instrument. Picture number 24. I stopped at the Yamaha table. There were several people there, reps, including my old colleague Wayne Tanabe, who used to own the Brass Bow in Arlington Heights outside of Chicago, then sold that and moved on over to Yamaha Artist Services in New York. And Wayne is a tremendous technician, really knows his stuff. We had a nice conversation about the Yamaha horns. Of course, everybody knows about Yamaha and their fantastic consistency, the value that you get from a Yamaha horn. What's new, what you may or may not know, are they have some new models coming out. The standards over the past several years have been the 668, which is the Crucible Wrap horn, and the 667 line, and it's quote-unquote professional, although they're all considered professional horns. The higher-end model 667V. Well, the 667 line is being replaced by the 671, the 871. So the 671 is what you see here, and it is very much in the same mold as the 667. It is a standard Geyer style of horn. It has a braced first branch, not a soldered first branch. But it does have a long single unit F branch on there. I believe the rotors are solid rotors on this. If I get anything wrong, somebody at Yamaha is going to correct me. So this is basically replacing the 667 line in terms of price and functionality. I don't know if you want to think of this as the new 667 or not. I've heard that the 671 has a tighter wrap, and I felt it did have a slightly tighter wrap than the 871. The 871 is picture number 25. You're not going to see a lot of differences here, other than the orientation of the horn, but there are differences. It has I believe, a lighter weight bell. Maybe lighter weight's not the right term, but it is definitely a more carefully made bell and bell tail. It has I'm not sure if it has a different lead pipe, but I'm pretty sure that they said it has a different lead pipe. It has a hollow change rotor, and it's my understanding, again, the Yamaha people can correct me if I'm wrong, but these are made by their top craftsmen. So they're going back to the custom line, the 800 series, with this horn as being a horn that's really represents the very finest work in terms of engineering, design, and sound that they can make. Now, picture number 26 is something I didn't even know existed, quite honestly. I hadn't heard a thing about it. And one of the things you might notice, I don't know if you're going to see it in this picture or not, it hasn't come up for me yet, is that the card might be hard for you to see. It might be so new that the card they had was not a printed model card. It was a handwritten card. It's possible that that it's that new. And you're going to notice, just looking at it, that it is a different kind of wrap. It's the 869. It is not like anything you've seen before. They are billing it as an Alexander 103 type of horn. Now, unlike most other Alexander type 103 type horns, it is not a direct copy of the wrap. It's a modified wrap, but it is designed in terms of taper and sound and overall wrap to it's designed to give a more European Alexander 103 type of sound. This horn, this is to me the most exciting horn on Yamaha's table, because this means Yamaha is really in the game for the 103 sound, for the 103 type of horn. And if you are a 103 fan, if you're a 103 player in Europe or the United States or anywhere else in the world, the 103 is a worldwide model. known and played worldwide. You really have to seek out this 800 series, custom series Yamaha 869. I do recommend that you do that. Picture number 27. Oh gosh, what can you say? It's Balu, and Balu is, I mean, he's a unique individual, and in a lot of ways, and we love him to death. He was there showing off horns, showing off mutes, showing off all kinds of stuff. And that's all very familiar territory. You know, Jan Balu and Ken Pope have what they call the Pope-Balu Alliance horn. It is their collaboration with Briz horns, made in China, to develop a horn that has superior playing characteristics and a really moderate price tag. And there are several of Briz models, and you know, Ken and Jan sell them as the Pope-Balu Alliance horn here in the United States. That's pretty well known by this point. And so that was what I was talking about in terms of, you know, horns made in China. There, not too many years ago, Chinese horns were considered, people just dismissed them. And I don't want to just say China. Let's just say, you know, low-cost imports. Some people say Asian imports. But they were considered not good horns. And there was no doubt that the industry was going to catch up in China and other Asian countries that are trying to get into the musical instrument market in a much bigger way. One of the things that will, and they have in a lot of different types of instruments, but, you know, brass instruments are kind of like other than trumpets, I hate to say it, are kind of like a follower type of field, because you're not going to sell as many horns as you're going to sell flutes or clarinets or whatever. And so there's going to be less incentive to move into the higher end market right away. There's going to be more incentive to do instruments that are going to sell a lot quicker in the mass market around the world, and move into those higher end instruments. And so you did see a lot of Chinese made string instruments move into the better instrument category before you saw brass instruments. So what you're seeing now, though, is you're seeing a lot of these Asian imports or low-cost imports, or, you know, some made in China, some made in Taiwan, whatever. You're seeing a lot of the higher-end instruments really moving up into that can-compete category. And this is exactly what Ken and Jan were looking for when they got into buying and selling the Briz horns. But that's still not why I have Jan's beautiful face looking out at us. Let's look at picture number 28. Jan doesn't sit still. He's working all the time to bring new stuff to market, to innovate, to put his own particular stamp on things. And this new mouthpiece line, I'm going to let the market decide whether or not this is a mouthpiece that they want. I'm willing to, again, I'm not saying anything bad or good about anything here in terms of playability. Okay, so these, and I know people who are trying these mouthpieces and just loving them at the workshop. But I want to say about the construction of this mouthpiece. This is a fantastically made mouthpiece. The mouthpieces were designed by Jan, and they're made in Belgium by Tim van Gysegem. I believe I've got Tim's name pronounced correctly. If not, Tim, correct me. But these mouthpieces are stainless steel. They have I don't want to say it's a brushed finish. It looks like a micro-peened finish. It's a satin kind of finish. The laser engraving is just incredible. And you see the rims. The rims have a gold cast to them. They are not gold plated. It is a titanium. I don't know if it's an alloy or if it. I don't think it could be pure titanium, but there's titanium there, and it has a gold cast to it. And Jan says that it's known as balloonite. So I guess he invented it or whatever. But the machining on these mouthpieces is just par excellence. They're really gorgeous. You have to try them. you go to a show and you're just going to have to get in there and find his mouthpieces and give them a try. They're brand new and not, you should try all the brand new stuff. You should give it a look. But I think these, because of the way they're made, are definitely, they're definitely worth a look. They have different model names. In the Balu fashion, they are not named with usual names like large, medium, whatever. These are the Mars, the Jupiter, the Venus, the Le Meow, the Le Mezzo Meow, and the Le Meow Meow. Probably in order of size, whether they're considered a small mouthpiece to a large mouthpiece. Let's look at picture number 29. This is the... I can't see which model this is, and I forgot. I'm sorry, I didn't write that down. But I'll see it in a minute. So anyway, this is the other line, the Le Meow, and you can see he has his Like a Boss logo. Who wouldn't want to own a mouthpiece with Like a Boss on it? Because that's, after all, that's how we all want to play. We all want to sound. We all want to be remembered. We all want to be like a boss. And if you own a Balu product, whether it be his mutes, his horns, his mouthpieces, or anything else that is coming down the pike from Jan Balu, it's going to be like a boss. That's Jan, and we just love Jan to death. Feel free to chat with me, make a comment in the comment section, ask a question. If you'd like, let me know if you've been to IHS this year, if you would like to go next year to Natal in Brazil. This is the IHS Roundup, and I'm only going to have a few more photos to show you, but this is stuff that is coming up that of all the things that I saw, everybody's making such fantastic stuff. Everybody. Walt Lawson used to tell me that players don't understand today how good they have it, how many great choices they have, how many really good makers are out there, how much really great gear and accessories that they just didn't have back in the day. And it's true. It's really true. There's just a plethora. Everybody there is making some really superior stuff. It's all worth playing and trying and considering, in my opinion. Every bit of it. But what I'm talking about is what I see in terms of construction and engineering and novelty. And there's something else. This is going to be kind of like, in my opinion, the best in show. I mean, if I had to put a blue ribbon on all of the horns and the accessories and the things that I saw at the vendor tables, if I had to put a blue ribbon on those, this would be it, for a lot of reasons. So if I can have picture number 30. Picture number 30. Dietmar Dirk. Dietmar, of course, is a German maker. And you can see Marcus and his son in the background. Makes several fantastic horns. He made the Dirk D3. He made the D5, the Lewis Dirk, which I don't remember if that's the 5 or not. And now makes this triple horn that he is holding in his hand. This is the model Q11, his triple horn, and it's just this just blew me away. This absolutely blew me away in practically every respect. There was hardly a thing about it that didn't absolutely knock my socks off, and not the least of which was Dietmar's absolute enthusiasm for this horn, and the fact that he's clearly poured his heart and his soul and every bit of his craftsmanship and knowledge into this horn. This is just an amazing triple horn from a construction and design standpoint. So I urge you, if you are in the market for a triple horn, that you must get a hold of this Model Q11 and give it a try. Now, Mike Lowry asked, I knew that question would come up. Before we go on with the Dirk Q11, let's answer the question about Jan's case. No, he did not bring his new case. You're going to have to ask Jan about where the case is in terms of development. My understanding is that he is solving the last few technical issues with design and production. It's not really design so much, but production design, you might want to call it. Jan did not have his new horn case there. I have talked with him about it. Please do talk to Jan about it to get the straight story, but he assured me that he is just about there, ironing out the details. It's like anything that is that's a new product, a new kind of design. He wants to get all, and I know that Balu wants to get all the details right with that horn case. Laura wants to know what kind of coffee do I recommend drinking. Well, Laura, there's hardly any coffee that you shouldn't drink while doing repair. My personal day-to-day coffee, my local roaster is Baltimore Coffee and Tea Company, and I prefer their full city medium roast of Colombian Supremo. It's my day-to-day coffee. It's my personal favorite. Just plain old Colombian Supremo is what a lot of people would think, but they do a really good job. My feeling is the real trick to excellent coffee is to get those fresh roasted beans and grind them right before you brew them. Delicious cup of coffee. Ken said not yet. I think Ken Pope. Hi, Ken. Now we have to, before I go on, we have to give a shout out to Ken. Ken, are you watching us from your sick bed? You devoted man, you. I have to give a shout out to Ken Pope. Ken's had a kind of a rough week. He's doing well though. And Ken, we love you. We just love you. Do I make the solder flow better than others? I don't know, Laura. I don't know. Solder flows, you know. I like to think I do. I'm wondering. Anyway, I have to ask Laura if she has somebody there helping her ask these questions. I suspect that somebody else is in on it with her. Shout out to Laura. Shout out to Ken. Love you guys. Okay, I was talking about the Dirk Q11. It's got a new lead pipe in it. Dietmar says it plays really evenly, really in tune. It's an F B flat F alto horn, and it's. I want you to take a look before we even go to the next picture. Look at the lines of that horn. Triple horns tend to have like a lot of pipes and Rico Kuhn's triple horn, the 393X, for example, really, they're all different. They're no two triple horns. There's no standard model, it seems, but a lot of triple horns just look like a lot of pipes, and you'll see Dietmar's got the corpus opening up. In all three horns have big, long, open branches. And I don't know if that makes a difference to the sound, but the way he's got it wrapped is that the F alto horn has a continuous taper all the way through to the valve section, even through the change valve, I believe, is how I correct me if I'm wrong. But the change valve from F alto into the double horn allows tapers on both sides past the change valve. Now you'll see just under his thumb there's a tiny short crook. That is the F alto independent tuning slide. So each horn has its own independent tuning slide. They're really, you don't have a tuning stick. You have a long taper lead pipe, relative size to each side of the horn, all three sides. You have continuous tapers other than the cylindrical valve section. You have terrific lines. There are two dual change clusters, which allows him to do these continuous tapers. And of course, the 1, 2, and 3 valves are triple stacked. just a fantastic wrap, in my opinion, and a great design in terms of making each side of the horn independent. Let's look at number 31. I have I know you can see it. I can't see it yet, but I want to make sure that this is the right one. I want to talk about these each at length. It is exactly what I thought. This is so clever. What are you looking at? You're looking at the lead pipe, of course, and you're looking at a coin, and you're looking at two little bits. That coin there is merely a euro 5 cent. It's just a euro 5 cent. And those two little bits are interchangeable mouthpiece tapers. They're the reverse taper in the lead pipe, which you normally put in when you're making a lead pipe. A lead pipe is tapered large to small, and then for the mouthpiece, it is reverse tapered. It's opened up to accept the taper of the mouthpiece. So it goes like this. There's a short end, and then it opens up again. So the mouthpiece taper that is normally put in mechanically with either a burnisher or a reamer or both, when I'm opening up a mouthpiece, I like to use the reamer to open up to a certain point where it's almost there, and then use a reamer, a Morse Zero reamer, to just finish it off. But a Morse Zero taper is an American shank taper, as we all know. The European shank is a wider taper. It's a wider type of mouthpiece. And the two don't match, as we all know, unless you have two different mouthpiece taper bits. And that's exactly what this is. One of those bits is the American shank, and the other bit is the European shank, and they are designed to let your mouthpiece go into the proper depth. They're designed, one of them will be for your mouthpiece if you have an American or a European shank, and they are slotted at the very end, the little slots milled in, so that they can be removed easily with a 5-cent piece and replaced. Now, of course, you're going to just put whichever one in that meets your requirements for your mouthpiece, the mouthpiece that you choose for this particular horn. But this gives Dietmar the ability to make one type of lead pipe and accept many types of mouthpieces. And it's a fantastic little innovation. I absolutely love it. And if it's worth anything, it's worth at least 5 cents. But it's worth far more than that, obviously. There's the old concept that we had of detachable lead pipes. And the Holt and Tuckwell models used to come with several lead pipes. And what most players found was that they would try each of the lead pipes, and they would pick whichever lead pipe they liked. They would put it on the horn, and they would leave it on the horn. This way, you don't need a different lead pipe for a European or an American shank. All you need is to take out that bit that it doesn't fit your mouthpiece and put in the bit that does fit your mouthpiece. The other one, put away, store away, you'll probably lose it. Who knows? Everybody loses the small bits, right? Maybe not. I would. But this is just a fantastic innovation. It's another tiny detail. And picture number 32 is one of the change valves. No, it's two of the change valves. It's a dual stacked change valve. And you're probably not seeing it if you just look at it and you don't know what to look for. But you'll see a mechanical linkage at the top. And then you'll see it go down to a stop armature. And then you'll see it go down into a valve casing. And then you'll see that valve casing go down past the ports. And then you'll see at the bottom of that valve casing, it will suddenly flare out from a single rotor size casing, flare out to a double rotor size casing. If you turn that over, you'll see there's another stop armature, there's another linkage, and those two rotors bear up back to back. They each have their own stop armatures on opposite sides, and inside they taper in and they bear up back to back. And this is a phenomenal feat of engineering. It allows Dietmar to put two change valves right where they need to be. and each with their own appropriate size, each with their own appropriate orientation, and each operated with their own portion of the dual linkage for the change valve. A phenomenal piece of engineering. And the valves are just so smooth. They operate so beautifully. And the only thing I said to Dietmar was, how the heck am I going to get that out of there when somebody brings that into me for a cleaning? And he had an answer for that. It's beautiful. There's a retaining ring on the top, or what we would actually consider the bottom, because what you're looking at with the stop armature is technically the bottom of the valve. And on the other side is the bottom of the valve, and the top is hidden. The two tops are next to each other. They bear next to each other. And getting that, how do you get that out? Well, you have to take the bits off and take the retaining ring off. Well, how do you get the rotor out? Because normally, you drive the rotor from the bottom out through the top. But you don't have that luxury. You can't drive it through the other rotor. And you can't drive the one underneath through the other rotor. And it's not going to be physically possible. So how do you get it out? And really, he has a special tool in the shop that he uses. But you don't need a special tool. All you need is to remove the hinge lever rod from the 1, 2, and 3 levers. And the threading on the nut that holds the hinge lever rod on is the exact same thread as the screw that holds the stop armature onto the long bottom spindle of those rotors. And so what you can do is remove the mechanical linkage, unscrew the stop armature screw, remove the retaining ring, take the hinge lever, screw it in, and then use a tool to tap the rotor out through the bottom using the hinge lever rod that is already on the horn. You could make a tool, but you don't need a tool. It's already on the horn, and it's a functional part of the horn. And that just blew me away, too. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this horn, the Q11, the Dirk Q11, is without a doubt, in my humble opinion, the best in show in terms of new stuff. So if you get to a show, you get a chance to, you're in the market for a triple horn, I urge you to try the Dirk Q11. Of course, I urge you to try every other horn that I've mentioned, every other maker's stuff that I've mentioned. It's just really tremendous stuff. It was a great show in terms of the vendors and the exhibits. Show's been brought to you by Brass Arts Unlimited. Also brought to you by a minor tune-up trumpet and brass wind services. Next week, it's just going to be purely what's on the bench. See if we can get Chris Cromer back with us. Contact us at youguys@thebrassbench.com. Follow us at www.thebrassbench.com. This show is a production of Brass Arts Unlimited and 12 Tides. Our associate producer and director is Adam Weiner. Our theme song is Ricochet, written by Carrie Turner. And I'm Dave Weiner. And I'm going to see you next time at the Brass Bench. Take care, everybody.